This was clear. But if we talk about it, as a result, we need to comma. As a result, the boy got injured. जिसकी वजह से लड़के को इंजरी हो गई. अब अगर इस सेंटेंस को हटा दें, as a result, the boy got injured. Towards the meaning of this particular sentence, जिसकी वजह से, इसकी वजह से लड़के को इंजरी हो गई. किसकी वजह से लड़के को इंजरी हो गई? We need to make it clear. How would it be clear? If we join this particular sentence with this sentence. In that sense, so as to make its meaning clear, it needs to depend upon this particular sentence, which is called principal clause. Okay, so if in a sentence we have to write like this, if we write subordinate clause first, as he was hard working student. Hard working student. He passed with distinction. He passed with distinction. Okay? अगर किसी सेंटेंस में सबऑर्डिनेट क्लॉज पहले आती है और प्रिंसिपल क्लॉज बाद में आती है, जैसे he passed with distinction, this sentence in itself is quite clear, but this is not. As he was a hard working student, then what happened? Okay, so as he was a hard working student, he passed with distinction. In that sort of sentence also, we need to use comma here, but in other situation, if we write he passed with distinction, as he was hard working. Okay, in this particular sentence, principal clause is not following subordinate clause, rather subordinate clause is following principal clause. So in this sort of sentence, we need not to use any comma. Okay. Another use of comma. Another use of comma is like when we use conjunctive adverbs. Conjunctive adverbs. We call them connectors also. Connectors also. We call them connectors also. Okay. What are those connectors? However, whereas, therefore. Okay. So such words are called as, these words are called connectors or conjunctive adverbs. Whenever we have to make use of these words in that particular situation, we need to put comma after these words. We have discussed about it during our connectors class also. Okay. So, like take a sentence now. Amanti scored 7 pens in each of the Whereas her friend could not clear the basic prerequisite of 6 each. Okay, here in this sentence we have to use whereas. Okay, so after whereas we put comma. Okay, in those situations also we used to use comma. Let us move towards another use of comma now. Yes. When we use words to address someone. For example, Harjeet still there? Sir, I could not reach in time as my bicycle was punctured. Okay, so here Harjeet, this is a noun. We had used it so as to address someone. Harjeet, are you still there? So as to take a small pause here, so as to tell Harjeet, okay, Harjeet, are you still there? Sir, I could not reach in time as my bicycle was punctured. Okay, so in these situations also we used to use comma. I think everything is getting clear to you. Okay, then what are those places? What are those places which are left to be discussed? We used to use comma with nominative absolute. Nominative absolute. What is nominative absolute? Nominative means noun, absolute means free. Okay? Actually, this particular term is used in sentence synthesis. When we synthesize sentences, in that particular situation we used to use this term. What does it mean? Okay, like we actually during synthesis of sentences we used to combine two sentences. They can be two simple sentences, they can be two complex sentences, they can be two compound sentences. Okay, so we used to combine those two sentences into one. But condition is that those particular sentences should have different subjects. Okay, take an example. time he was allowed to sit in the examination. Okay, so he reached in time, he was allowed to sit in the exam. इस टाइप के सेंटेंसेस में जैसे देखिए, he reached in time, he was allowed to sit in the exam. No, I need to take another example because here subjects are not different. It got dark, अंधेरा हो गया था. He planned not to he planned to stay at his friend's home. So here this particular sentence, it denotes, मतलब it is used for dark. Okay, so he used for a person. It got dark. He planned to stay at his friend's home. But these sentences are related to each other. How? देखिए, it got dark. क्योंकि अंधेरा हो गया था, इसलिए he planned to stay at his friend's home. तो इसलिए उसने अपने फ्रेंड के होम पे ही रहने का मन बनाया. He planned to stay at his friends. You need to put apostrophe here. Friends home. Okay. So, like here we used to use participles so as to synthesize these sort of sentences. Participles. There are 3 types of participles, but in this particular situation we used to use 2 only. What are those participles? Present participle and perfect participle. Okay, so how would we join these 2 sentences? Like we have to see that whether this sentence is in active voice or in passive voice. It got dark, अंधेरा हो गया था. ये सेंटेंस एक्टिव वॉइस में ही है. जब सेंटेंस एक्टिव वॉइस में होगा तब हम प्रेजेंट पार्टिसिपल यूज करेंगे. कैसे यूज करेंगे? Having got dark. Having got dark. इस सेंटेंस को एज इट इज यूज करेंगे. Having got dark. Dark यहां पे यूज करेंगे हम कॉमा. 2 अलग-अलग sentences थे. In particular situation, we have joined these 2 sentences together. So here we need to put comma according to the rule. Then we will write this sentence as it is. He planned to stay at his friend's home. At his friend's home. Okay. Then, so in this way, like if sentence was to He was shot dead. Ambulance took him to the hospital for post-mortem. Okay. He was shot dead. Now, he was shot dead. उसे मार दिया गया था. ठीक है. So this sentence is in passive voice. अब जब दोनों sentences को हम ज्वाइन करेंगे तब ये कैसे होगा? He was shot dead. He having been, यहां पे हम यूज करेंगे been का, because we are using perfect participle here. He having been shot dead. Ambulance took him to the hospital. For post-mortem. In these two sentences also we have made use of comma at this place. Okay, so these are the situations in nominative absolute when we used to use comma to join two sentences together. Okay. There is another use of comma. Let us see what is that. Apposition. In apposition. What is apposition? Apposition is to tell something more about the noun. To tell something more about the noun. That is called apposition. Suppose there is a sentence. Raman the captain of our cricket team. Raman, comma, the captain of our cricket team got permanent residency of Canada. Okay. So here, like Raman, who Raman? The captain of our cricket team. So this particular phrase tells something excessive about the Raman. Raman, who is Raman? The captain of our cricket team. So in this situation also we used to use comma. Here also use of comma is made. Okay. So these are those situations where we used to use comma. And one thing more is there, a comma is used, that is like when we combine two closely related sentences, like my brother like to watch. My brother like to watch Hollywood movies. I love to watch. I love to watch reality shows. Okay, so these two sentences are related to each other. This is about watching something. Okay, this is about watching television, this is about watching something. Okay, so subjects are different. My brother likes to watch Hollywood movies. I love to watch reality shows. We can combine these sentences together. How? While making my brother likes to watch Hollywood movies, comma, but I love to watch reality shows.